Hi, I'm Arthur Moats, and I'm here to talk to you about the Moats theory of life and the amazing Father's Day sale that we have going on, ladies and gentlemen. So, leading up till Father's Day, if you purchase Moats Theory of Life, my new book, you can buy one and get the next one half off. I mean, this is a chance to help your father become a better person of impact and inspiration. You do not want to miss this opportunity. So with that being said, moatstheory.com is the place to go. You do not want to miss out, baby. What's up? It's the Arthur Moats Experience with Deke. I'm Arthur Moats, and that's my main man, Deke.
What's up, man?
Man, it's a great day.
It's a beautiful day.
It's a great day,
beautiful
man.
out. Back to our traditional weather talk.
I love it, man. I feel like we need that, man. That's how you know it's going to be a dope episode. When we get a chance to talk that weather in that first, how you feeling? Man, it's a great day. Weather looks nice. Oh, baby, you know what time it is.
I think it's because we both know we got a few things on the docket.
We're excited about.
Yeah, that we didn't really come up with anything creative for the intro.
Yeah.
So
that's what it is. We knew exactly. I mean, I have some creative stuff, like for the fact that you received some praise for your glasses, that look, that Harvard scholar look. And ever since I told you about this praise you received, now all of a sudden you're not wearing the glasses. What's going on here, man?
Well, whenever I was breaking it down a couple months ago, the whole glasses, no glasses thing, I will wear them on occasion. I don't want that to be my look completely. Just on occasion. I do need them outside of recording a podcast whenever I'm driving and just doing my day-to-day.
I can't see without these glasses, but for the sake of the podcast.
So if you catch me, hopefully there are tailgates this year for the 2020 season. If you catch me down at the tailgate with you and Steeler Gang, the terrible tailgate, I'll probably be wearing glasses just so I can
strong possibility.
But in terms of my social media persona and my internet persona, I'm trying to keep the glasses to a minimum. Wear them here and there, just, oh wow, he looks sophisticated here. But just in general, I don't really want that to be my look.
I feel like you got three looks. You have the Deke look, which is kind of like, all right, it might be a flannel, might be a jersey.
Right.
No real rhyme or reason. You know, I think like the old school champion jerseys. Like that's Deke.
That's all you can do. This
then you have the scholar where you put the glasses on, you look real sophisticated. Like you about to give us straight educational facts. Like I feel like I'm going to put Myron Roll, you know?
Okay.
That's your other look. But then you got sex symbol Deke. That's when you got 4 buttons unbuttoned, taco meat showing. You see sex symbol Deke a lot on the CML previews now. It started as a one-time thing, but now it's like, oh, that's his go-to. He's just putting the blazer on. I don't even want to know what's under from where the camera can see. Like I don't even want to go that far. I'm like, maybe he's
just belly roll straight now. I got to work on that, but there's not really much to see there.
Yeah, I was like, all right, Deke. So those are your three looks. I like it though, man, because you haven't identified. I mean, you have a specified look for each occasion, and I'm just glad that I've been around you long enough to start to pick up on. Like, okay, I like that.
I'm getting there. there. Still much to learn about all that type of stuff, branding, and I'm doing my best though.
I like it, man. I can respect that. And shoot, man, we just, we fashion guys, man. We do what we want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Do what we want to do, man.
As long as you got confidence while you're doing it.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And speaking of confidence, man, oh, man. I think all of Steeler Nation can agree upon one thing. After, I believe it was Tuesday? I think it was Tuesday when this thing dropped, or Wednesday maybe.
I think it was the day we did our podcast. I think it was Monday, because as soon as we dropped the podcast, that video released, and you're like, oh shit.
No. It would have had. When did we record Monday? We recorded in the morning.
Yeah.
So it might have been because I was on the air doing my radio show when it dropped. Like, I remember breaking news.
I think it was middle of the day Monday.
Yeah. So with that being said, man, I feel like when this video dropped, if y'all don't know what we're talking about right now, you must have been living under a rock, man. When Big Ben, number 7, dropped that video, all the Steeler Nation instantly became a lot more confident. And I don't even want to start this. I want you to take the floor because I know how you feel about 7. I know you. So tell us, when you saw that video, baby, what was your reaction, man?
Well, you sent it to me.
I couldn't help myself.
And what did I send back? I sent like 6 fire emojis, like
some goats.
3 or 4 goat emojis.
It looked like a middle school like text chain that we were going back and forth. It's all emojis, no words, but it was fire.
I could try to pull it up. I think I mentioned something about him turning back the clock 5 years.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, man. Like the video was awesome. It had all the elements. You have the pre-story or the beginning of what happened. He's on an airplane with his wife, I'm guessing. And I don't know if he was going to surgery or I don't know.
It would have been either going to surgery or recently out of surgery, because you hear like he doesn't even have the beard yet.
No.
And his wife is saying to him, "Hey, when you gonna shave it?"
Yeah.
When I throw an NFL throw.
And you know what? He showed some personality there. You could tell in the tone of his voice, and
he was determined. He was serious.
It was something you don't typically see from Ben. He's pretty polished when it comes to press conferences and PR things, but it was nice because you got the vertical screen and just the behind the scenes look that you normally don't get with Ben. So that was one element of it, the beginning of the story, and then all of a sudden the music pops in. And then you see the drop back. Professional filmmaking.
Looks nice.
And there's a little pause, the black screen between him dropping back, and then all of a sudden you see a throw. And it was probably the best throw I've ever seen from him, really.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Why you downplaying it, Deke? Get up, baby. Get hype.
It's hard for me to say that because we've obviously seen Super Bowl 43 throw, other throws, but considering the circumstances and how well it was shot, I think that has something to do with it.
Okay.
It really looked like he was letting loose there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because of the haircut and I talked about this at the beginning, man. Whenever people were ripping on him for his weight, he looks a lot leaner. And I've been saying this. It's the beard. It's throwing you off. But in that video, if you don't look at the beard, he looks trim, man. So that goes into me saying he's turned back the clock 5 years. And just his ability. I mean, dude, he looks good. He looks really good, man.
I like it. Now, before I give you my reaction, did you pause the video to see his body shape? I heard that was like a thing. Like people were really
I didn't need to.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't. I probably started to jump onto my computer 3/4 of the way through the video to start downloading it myself so I could post it on my Twitter. I didn't even like really finish the video.
Because I heard like people really were doing that, like pause it to see like what his body looked like, what his arm looked like. I was like, this is the thing. I didn't know that.
So yeah, and then you obviously have the two throws to
James Conner and Juju.
Right.
And then Switzer had a cameo in there as well.
Switzer was there. Yeah. So you have that middle of the story, the apex, the peak of wow, he's back. Like this is what we really wanted to see, the climax of the whole production. And then you just get a little going out where he's trimming up his beard a little bit and
cause a little conversation, a little controversy here, man.
Tom Wolfe, go home, shut up.
Right.
That's
you see, he didn't spook me. I was gonna get mine. And I was like, nope, I don't want him saying nothing about me. I'm nervous.
Tom Wolfe just needs to shut up and go home. He just needs to stop it. But anyway, I mean, he's not shaving the beard fully. He's going to keep it trimmed. He's got the fade on the side and keeping the top a little bit longer.
A little comb over?
That's another reason I'm saying he turned back the clock 5 years.
I like it, man.
So I don't know if it's a new look for him where he's going for GQ Ben now. It's going to be a whole new thing.
Sex symbol, Big Ben.
I mean, I'm just feeling really good. And you talked about confidence. It was the first word you used. I'm really confident.
Absolutely, man. So for me, you already alluded to how hype I was. I was literally on air. First off, breaking news. Like, oh man, Big Ben just dropped this, guys. He's throwing. And mid segment, I'm texting you to let you know. Like,
you were in.
I was like mid segment, like, yo, Deke, this is crazy.
Wow.
Because I was that excited, man. So when I first saw the video, I think for me, a couple of things stood out. First off, like you said, the behind the scenes access. Ben, when it comes to his personal life, when it comes to those type of workouts and things like that, when have you ever seen him post a video? When have you ever seen him share that type of information? He doesn't do that. So that was big to me, seeing that he was willing to open that up to the public, to Steeler Nation. But then I take it a step further. Two things on top of that made me go through the roof of my confidence. Number one.
Through the roof?
Yeah, number one, Big Ben. He's not going to post that video if he felt there was any way he wouldn't be 100% ready to go by the season. He knows what that expectation does by posting that video. He knows that it instantly changes the excuse of, oh, is he going to be healthy? Is he not going to be healthy? When you drop that video, we all instantly said, oh, he's good to go. And it wasn't like the Steelers dropped the video. it was from his personal Twitter account. That let me know, okay, he's for real. He's 100% confident that he's back. That was my biggest question. Is he going to be good to go? Is he going to be Ben? Like, I don't want Benjamin. I want Big Ben. You know what I mean? It's a difference.
Benjamin.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want that.
Whoever calls him Benjamin.
Yeah, exactly. I need Big Ben. So seeing him post that video, that let me know in his mind, with the way he feels is, yeah, I'm back. I'm that guy. Get ready. So I'm like, okay, I love that. But then to take it a step further, I said, okay, granted, it was a short video, right? And the angles, they still wouldn't show because of how it was clipped up and edited. You still couldn't necessarily see how far the throws were, the zip on them, things like that, right? But no. But this is why I'm still even more confident, right? So obviously it was more of the highlight reel style video. You got Juju in there hype and they got the music, gets you going. But you couldn't really see the different things to try to evaluate it, right? Mm-hmm. But the next day, Ryan Switzer, he does an interview with Mark Kaboly, one of the Pittsburgh beat writers. He's covering the team, been covering them for years. Great guy. Switzer tells Kaboly, hey, man, I was out there with him and he had zip on the ball. You could hear the ball whistling through the air. He says, man, I'm trying to work on catching with no gloves, but my hands were hurting trying to catch this pass from Ben. So for me,
no restraints.
No restraints. And he said he was throwing all the way right, left, across his body. Hearing that from Switzer made me more confident. And I know people are going to say, well, what do you expect Switzer to say? But this is my thing. If that wasn't the case, Switzer doesn't do that interview and say that. If there was any doubt, Big Ben doesn't tell Switzer it's okay to go do that interview. Because let's be real about it. Big Ben, he knew the people that were going to be out there with him. He trusts those guys. He understands that, hey, if I told them in privacy or being confidential, there we go. Trying to get those words out. But
I bought shit up all the time. It's good, man.
But if he was trying to speak to these guys and expect them not to say certain things, he trusted them that they wouldn't. So the fact that Switzer went out and said that lets me know that Big Ben green lighted that. Big Ben said, yeah, you can tell them what I was doing. Like, let them know. And for me, that gives me even more confidence than just the video. Because like I said, with the video, I joked with you about, I was like, man, it was only 2 throws, but shoot, I mean, I'm hyped either way, but it's still hard to tell like how far it was, the zip, the velocity, accuracy, anything. But hearing Switzer, who's been in the league for a couple of years now. So, I mean, you can debate how effective Switzer is and things like that. But at the end of the day, he is a NFL caliber player. He's been in the NFL for multiple years. He's been a part of multiple organizations. So he's seen multiple quarterbacks. He knows what NFL caliber is and what it isn't. So I'm trusting his judgment on that. And for me, that's why I'm just like, dude, we're good. I said 16-0. You can make it 60,000-0.
Wow.
Like, that's just how I feel, man. Period.
Wow. And you know what, though? I know we only saw 2 throws and how the whole video was cut up and everything. Mm-hmm. We didn't get to really see everything. Correct. In terms of the ball velocity, like you mentioned, the touch on the balls and all that. But there is something to having a little bit of mystery. You don't want to show your hand too much right off the bat anyway. And then, you know how we are as humans. We like the stories. We like the mythology. And we're getting a little bit of that too. And what I'm thinking in the back of my mind...
We don't like the story. We like instant results. What are you talking about?
Deep down, we like stories, man.
We want the answer right now.
No, we're seeing it with this Jordan documentary. We love stories,
We want answer right now. Give it to me right now, man. I don't want to wait. You said it just so. Why we got to wait till what, May for them to drop this documentary? Can they drop it earlier? Coronavirus going on, man. Drop it sooner.
Yeah, but still, the documentary was story, though.
You want it now. We want wins now.
The documentary,
I need to see it now.
The documentary is not...
I don't want to wait.
No. The documentary is not a stat thing. The documentary is a complete story.
I need to see it now. I don't want to wait.
And I'm starting to think, as I'm driving over here, Ben might be just the master of PR. I don't know what's getting leaked or what's not, but just think of the whole beginning of this journey until now. Beginning of the year with him going down with the Seahawks, you know, he's getting this surgery. I'm going to be motivated, but then there's stuff that comes out. I don't know who's leaking this stuff, but man, we're unsure about Ben coming back and all this. You know, is he completely motivated? Then Christmas comes around. You haven't really heard too much about the story. Yeah. Something gets leaked that, you know, Ben's having doubts about coming back. On Christmas Day, Ben comes out and says, "No, I'm more motivated than ever. I'm coming back." And then, you know, we go through this whole January and February, just mixed reports and, you know, all this type of stuff. And then all of a sudden, this video comes out, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
So I don't know who's orchestrating those strings, but what I'm trying to say is just the whole story and the ups and downs has got people hyped. So
yeah, man, I do agree with you in that regard. And I will say this too. I think that the way this video was released, because like you said, you can tell like this is Ben's personal, like people recording this. It's not team. It's not the Steelers or the NFL. Just because, I mean, the beginning of it is definitely done on like an iPhone. Like you see the camera, like the cut of it. But when I'm thinking of if you're Ben and you're trying to fly under the radar, for example, you don't drop this right now because during COVID-19, what is really going on from a sports standpoint? You have a couple UFC fights. You got NASCAR. Shout out to NASCAR. Just recently got into that. It's crazy.
What?
But, yeah, dude,
you're watching?
I'm watching that. I watched 4 hours of NASCAR yesterday, bro. It was nuts.
No way.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is this: when you drop certain stories, you know, if I drop it this time of year, it's gonna be big because it's nothing else, right? You know what I mean? Like, so by him dropping it now, that's like when you talk about controlling the narrative. That's been controlling that narrative. That's been saying, hey, I understand that the draft happened. I hear people saying we should have done that or we could have done this. I hear people doubting us in terms of the schedule released. Oh, who has the easiest schedule? Who has the toughest schedule? Which game is going to be this and that? I hear all of this going on. Well, you know what? Let me show you what's really about to happen. Let me show you why they call me 7. Let me show you why I've led this team for this many years and I'm a first ballot Hall of Famer. Let me show you. Let me remind you real quick. Oh, and I changed my hairstyle up. Let me, you know what I mean? So when I see all of that, it just gets me going. And that's why I'm rocking my Steelers gear today. My hair is carefree just like Ben, because Ben is ready to go. He's ready to go. And I'm ready to go too, man. So 17,000-0. Let's go, baby. MVP, comeback player of the year, Super Bowl MVP. It's all happening this year.
I'm glad you're feeling it too. Bro. So that this will be something that we agree on whenever our predictions come out.
Absolutely. Well, I've already put it down there.
I know you said 16.
I'm not backing down. I'm not backing down, bro. Nope. I'm letting you know now. I don't care. But yeah, man, I'm excited, bro.
Dude, I'm definitely excited.
Yeah. Now, when we're talking the video, right? Now I've heard where people are starting to, I guess, revise the AFC North in terms of, well, you've heard the reports. Well, man, they got this quarterback, Heisman Trophy winner here, Heisman Trophy winner there, reigning MVP. And they were still trying to make this case where they feel that even with this video, that doesn't move the Steelers at all in terms of the AFC North debate. For me, I think they're absolutely crazy. For a couple of reasons, man. I understand the Lamar Jackson argument. Okay, I could get that. But you're not going to tell me that you're going to take a Baker Mayfield or a Joe Burrow over a Big Ben this year. For me, I don't see that at all.
No.
And I also think too, man, with the way this offseason is working out, with the lack of OTAs, with the potential lack of a traditional training camp setting, it benefits 7 more than any of those guys because he's been doing it the longest. He has the most rapport with
him and Tomlin. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, this is set up for him perfectly compared to the other guys in terms of if this had to be the year where he's coming back after missing a season, I think all of that plays extremely well for him and is setting up for the perfect storm in terms of him coming back and showing that, hey, I'm the man. I'm taking my crown back.
No, absolutely. Now, I have a question for you then. Mm-hmm. Is this video what you needed to see? Because I remember us talking back in January, February, just about concerns. We just we don't know, and I think you were a little more cautious / concerned.
Yeah, absolutely.
Optimistically, what was the phrase you used?
Cautiously optimistic.
There it was. You used that.
But then I got called a hater for that. You know how many? I was a little surprised. I said, man, so you're either 1,000% blind faith. And that means you're cool. You're a Steeler fan. But if you express any type of concern, not doubt, just concern. Because remember, I didn't say I don't think he's going to come back and be good. I just said, man, I know how it is coming off an injury. He missed this time. He's 38. It's a lot of concerns. We haven't seen anything from him. We don't know anything. We don't know where he's at in his recovery. And I was caught, man, I've seen I'm a hater. I've seen that apparently me and Big Ben have went at it. They said that apparently Ben has, had relations with a female that I know or something.
Oh,
bro, like what are we doing?
Wait, who's saying this?
Bro, it's crazy. I'm like, man, we're all the way here with this thing for just some cautious optimism. Wow. I was so surprised by that, man. I really was. I didn't know it was like that. But less about the video. The reason why I feel more confident now than back then was the fact that we have an official update. It's one thing for people to say something that weren't around him. Kevin Colbert and Mike Tomlin, they said, we're getting reports from the people that he's working with that his rehab is going good. Ben is telling me his rehab is going good, but where was the actual proof? And we all said that, hey, if it's coming from the organization, do you think they're going to say, the rehab's not going like how we think it's going to go right now? No, they're not going to say that. They're going to feed you all positivity.
Yeah, that's what we were getting.
All right. So for me, I said, I personally am not buying that right now. Not 100% because I've seen them say the same thing in firsthand experience. No, it's not even close to that. So that was my whole purpose of being cautiously optimistic. Now it's different when the message is coming from Ben himself, along with a clip of him throwing, along with somebody that was actually there catching passes from him, an NFL qualified receiver, speaking on his velocity, his accuracy, not some fandom, not some secondhand report, not somebody that knows somebody that heard about him throwing. No, and not that 5-second clip of him lobbing the football. Remember that? With everybody?
I do remember that.
Yeah. So for me, no, I'm not going to allow any of that other stuff to dictate my confidence in him until I hear it from him, until I see something that he is the driving force of. And that's the difference. But we all know, just in general, we tend to operate a little differently. Some people have that blind faith. I mean, last year, people with blind faith that were still saying, hey, man, yeah, this dude's an awesome guy. Or that guy right there, he's awesome. And we saw how everything played out. It's a little different. We're not naming names of particular players, but y'all catch the gist of that statement.
Yeah.
And so for me, that's always my approach. Period.
Understood. Sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need like we said, the yin and the yang.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, man.
But yeah, I was just curious about that because you seem a lot more upbeat about things right now.
Like I said, it's different when the message comes from that person directly. Like I said, if the Steelers would have posted that video, if that would have been a Steeler production, I would not feel this confident.
Okay,
I would not, because they're controlling the narrative again.
The Ben video with the short toss,
that was through the Steelers.
That was Steelers.
Exactly. So what are they trying to feed their fan base? Think about it. They just missed the playoffs for the second year. It was some issues going on with the quarterback room. Man, things aren't looking good right now. What can we do to drum up some excitement? What can we do to make this thing better? Oh, put that video out there. 10 seconds. Not even 10, 5 seconds. Better. That was it, right?
Yeah, because that was when he was getting cleared, correct? And then instead of putting out a statement, give us the video. That was awesome.
So they controlled that part of it. But for me, I'm like, remember when that video dropped, people were saying, oh, he's back 100%. And we said, dude, he barely threw it 5 yards. Like, what are we talking about here? But remember, that was the whole narrative. Then he's good. He's 100% going. And I said, dude, you saw that. Is that an NFL caliber play? Is that an NFL caliber throw? He was just barely. But
that's what we needed.
I understand the excitement around it. I understand that. But
it was supposed to be tennis balls.
Correct.
We got the
but
football.
when that's coming from the team, I'm not buying that. But this is different because it came from him. He's putting this out there like, hey, I'm owning this. I'm putting myself out there. And when you're willing to bet on yourself in that regard, I feel way more confident. You're putting your neck on the line, your reputation on the line. It's different if I'm the Steelers and I'm saying, hey, man, Ben's ready to go. Yeah, he's good to go. Now, you haven't said anything, but hey, he's good to go. Yeah, look at this video. He's good to go. Now, if you fail, what can you say? I never said that. The organization said that. I never said anything like that.
I've just been working hard.
I was just trying my best, yeah. And it didn't go the way I wanted. That's a totally different narrative, right?
Yeah.
But now when you're the one saying, I'm good to go. Look at me. You see this video? Look at this. Oh, he was with me. Ask him. You see that? So now the excuse can't be, hey, man, I ain't said that. They said that. No, now it's
all on me.
It's on me. I own it. You put that pressure on yourself. That's the difference in perspective for me. Some people don't need that. Some people, like I said, have blind faith. They're just, hey, man, I'm going with it 100%. We've seen Cleveland. They have a lot of blind faith every year. And we see how that works out for them. Cincinnati, a lot of blind faith every year. You see how that works out for them. The list goes on and on and on and on. Whether it's quarterbacks, whether it's organizations, ton of blind faith. I don't like to operate like that. That's just me.
Yeah.
So that was my whole perspective with it. But that's why this is so different to me versus earlier in this year. Because it's him controlling there. Because it's him putting the pressure on himself. Because it's him. Big Ben number 7. Quarterback, baby. Let's put it out there.
What else do you expect from such a dynamic leader? Putting the responsibility on him.
So you spend it how you need to spend it.
I'm just saying, man. And this goes back to stuff we've talked about in the past. I definitely do think this could be just a resurgent year, MVP type of season. The year off, there could definitely be some benefits to him. We've listed it in the past, just recalibrating how to play the game and just finding what's important. Obviously, the new fitness element he's brought into it. I think there's some things brewing.
So the three guys that were in the video, who you think is the most happiest? Switzer, Juju, or James Conner?
Switzer.
Oh man, elaborate, my friend.
I was gonna bring this up. Is there
I had to go there, man. I can't help it.
Is there any doubt that Switzer's making the team right now?
Not at all. He's there. He's locked.
That's why he's
security, baby.
That's why he's excited. Juju, come on, he's already got his own brand. He doesn't need to worry about any more publicity. Okay. He did help the video saying he's back. That got people hyped. And then James Conner, we didn't really bring anyone in to rival him for running back. We obviously drafted someone in the 4th round, but it's James Conner's position. Yeah. He's friends with Ben too already, from what I know at least. Yeah. The only person that was in question about their status with the team was Switzer, and he's in
the video. He made a cameo,
and this was a big time video.
It was
to be a character in the story like this and put your quotes out like that. You just think he's gonna be on the team. He's boys with Ben, so I'm good with it. It's whatever. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of him at all. But if he's on there to support and help whatever way he can to get this team some wins, I'm good with it. So.
Okay, fair enough. For me,
in terms of returning punts, though, I mean, it's got to be Deontay. And
Deontay's all pro. He's going to be returning punts. What are we talking about here?
And same with kick returns. I don't know if Deontay really will do kick returns. Because we had Kareth White
was on him last year,
So that'll depend. We'll see what happens there.
For me, man, I definitely could see the Switzer angle.
Wait, what are you saying?
But for me, man, I think it's James Conner. Because when you look at the year that James Conner had last year, it was a down year. I mean, obviously we know the injuries, but he was facing very stacked boxes from a defensive standpoint. It was he was at a disadvantage just lining up a lot of times. Whereas now, when you have been at quarterback, regardless of who's the receiver, you have to respect that. It's no different than the Tom Brady effect. Tom Brady historically has had bad receivers, right? I know. Well, what about Randy Moss? Okay, cool. But what about when Julian Edelman was his leading receiver? Like, put it in context here. So when I think of that situation, right, it didn't matter who his receivers were. You're not going to play certain coverages versus that quarterback because of the respect, the fear factor of that. So when you look at Ben, it's the same concept. You're not going to do certain things from a defensive alignment standpoint against 7 because you're not going to tempt him because you know he can beat you in that regard. So what does that do? That means James Conner gets a lighter box to run in. So instead of running against 7 to 8 man boxes, the defensive fronts, and we're talking the amount of defensive linemen and linebackers and safeties that are potentially right within that 5-yard box of the line of scrimmage. Now he's looking at 6-man boxes. Now he's looking at, light situations where they're running dime personnel out there. Instead of 2 bigger inside linebackers, you're looking at a linebacker and a safety or a corner. And we talked about how with Le'Veon, how he thrived in that because versus the lighter boxes, now you don't have to make 2 and 3 guys miss. You just got to get this one guy to miss. And if the O-line is doing what they have been doing, over the past couple of years, well, now you're up on a safety. That's the difference between a 5-yard run and a 20-yard run. So if you're James, you got to be just jumping for joy because that's what that means. All you have to do is stay healthy. If you stay healthy contract year, you are in line to cash out.
He wants to be here.
He does want to be here.
That's for another podcast, though.
It is, because I feel like that's a whole another dilemma with that situation as well. But I feel like
teaser for next week.
Yes, indeed. But I feel like this definitely benefits him a lot because now he's going to be running in where they have the numbers on offense. Meaning, we're either equal or you have one less guy to account for when we're on offense. And I think for James Conner, and you've seen what he's been able to do when he had that opportunity. You remember the last year in 17 where he has AB, Ben, Juju. They weren't able to stack the box. And he had a ton of success, Pro Bowl year. Mm-hmm. So I'm anticipating something like that going from him.
If he stays healthy.
That's the big thing right now. If he stays healthy, but that's what I'm anticipating from him because of Ben being back out there and being healthy.
So you're going more the excitement based off of how the play is going to actually
absolutely
happen during the season.
Yeah, I'm hyped because, man, if I'm James, I'm saying to myself, bro, I'm about to go off. I'm about to get paid, and I'm about to be one of the big contributors to the success this year.
No, my thing is, though, I don't know how much that has to do with the video as opposed to Ben's just coming back.
Hey, man, the video, though, like,
dude, being in the video, though, that's a big thing for Switzer. That's big. That's big. So
why y'all coming at Swiss, man? Come on, man.
We already know Juju and Connor standing with the team.
Come on, man. Why y'all coming at Swiss like that, man?
Who is it? Just me? There's other people coming at him.
It's a little following.
There's people ripping on him.
It's a little following, man. It's a little following.
Listen, he's boys with Ben, so he's good with me.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely certain things about his play that has disturbed me in the past. But
all I'm saying is this: if this is the movie Shrek and Big Ben is Shrek, Switzer is Donkey. You need him.
All right, that's
your
good.
boy.
That's good with me then. I
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Donkey played a major role in Shrek. It's cool. I'm with it. And that's no offense to Swiss. I'm not calling him Donkey. I'm just saying, like, in theory, that's their relationship. He's there for him.
You got to have your guy. Like LeBron, who do you have? I think it was Jones, Damon Jones, or James Jones?
No. He had James Jones, and then he had
Jones.
Richard Jefferson.
Jefferson wasn't on the Heat, though.
I'm talking Cleveland.
Okay.
Yeah, because in Cleveland, it was like, Richard, you ain't supposed to. Come on, bro. Really?
Well, didn't James Jones go to both teams? He was on the team with Miami. I think he went with
Richard,
him.
though. Richard did it, too, I thought.
No, he was never on the Miami.
I'm trying to think. Was James, you sure James went to Cleveland with him?
I think, dude.
I don't remember that. I remember Richard Jefferson being the one. I'm always like, come on, bro.
Who else? Anderson, too, right?
Yeah, Birdman.
Did he go to Cleveland?
Nah.
No, he didn't go to Cleveland. But yeah, he was one of those guys with the Heat.
Yeah, he just kind of like, okay. All right, that's your boy. I understand. That's your boy.
So I'm good with it. We're both LeBron fans.
Though,
we're both Ben fans. So
it's going to be a good situation either way, man. I think the video just confirmed it. Like I said, and hearing Ryan Switzer describe and give you a more in-depth analysis of everything, the things that we can't see, for the people that are cautiously optimistic, the ones who take my approach, that you being able to hear from Switzer, that definitely
now it's okay to get hype. Now it's okay to join.
I never said y'all couldn't get hype. I said, hey, man, do what you want to do. Remember?
No, I'm saying now you guys can join in.
Oh no,
and feel better about it.
For me, I keep my hypeness to myself. This is my hype bubble over here, and I'm not gonna let y'all come over here and pollute my bubble.
Okay, so your hype doesn't get affected by others?
Nah, not at all.
Okay,
and you're not invited to my hype. I'm selfish.
Fair enough, man.
I'm keeping it all to myself right here. It's just perfect because I don't want anybody coming in and saying, what if? I'm committed now. I'm locked in 100%. There is no turning back for me. Burn the boats, baby. We there.
Yep.
Yeah.
That works for me, man.
Absolutely, man. So
everyone's got their own way of doing things.
Yes, indeed. So I'm extremely excited about that, and I think it's going to be a good thing going forward. So yeah, man.
Dude, outside of Brady, Brady had a better peak, I would say, but Ben might have won the offseason here.
Oh, yeah.
Just in terms of headlines and people paying attention to it.
But he was more strategic, too, when he did it. You have to think, too, when Brady...
He had his peak, for 2 or 3 weeks, him signing with the Bucs and his whole free agency thing. But
even the Super Bowl, remember when he posted the video? The
Hulu commercial and then his
all of that stuff. Like Brady definitely early on. But we also have to remember, too, this is more like in the moment right now. So we're trying to compare in the moment right now to something that happened a month, 2 months. I mean, there's been a lot that's transpired.
I forgot about that
then.
Super Bowl thing.
Yeah, so it's
close, 1 and 2.
Either way, they those two guys have dominated. I think is Ben and Brady, however you want to rank that offseason, and then I would say Gronk is at 3 right now in terms of him coming out of retirement. That was a huge thing, but it still got overshadowed because he went to Tampa. You know what I mean? But still, it's those headlines. I mean, for the NFL, you're winning because you are dominating headlines during this whole crisis right now.
Definitely had a little bit of an NBA feel with this offseason.
It did, man, with the moves that have been made.
So if they could keep that going, I mean, it is a 24/7, 365 type of league already for the most part. Outside of, I don't know, May, June's kind of slow, but
well, I mean, think about this. We're in the middle of May right now. Think about that. Like traditionally, this is when we'll be talking OTA practices and getting ready for mini camps and things like that. OTAs would have started on Tuesday. So when we talk about the NFL, they have content for each month.
They do have content, but I'm more focused on NBA right now, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's the lead and the clubhouse. But once July comes back around, it's basically that until NFL draft.
Yeah.
It's all NFL for me. So yeah, good for them, man.
Well,
good
for me, like I said, I've added NASCAR into my thing now. So
that's wow. Do you want to talk about it all?
Like, man, I don't even know,
you brought
man.
It up twice.
I don't know if this is like a NASCAR crowd, bro. I watched 4 hours of NASCAR with my wife.
What happened? Did you bet on it or something? Is that what it was?
Man. So literally, I stumbled across the first NASCAR race that started back, I think it was Sunday, over at Darlington, right, in South Carolina. And I watched, I'm like, yo, I just happened to have the TV up loud and I heard the cars coming around the corner and seeing the TV shaking. I was like, whoa, what is this? So I'm like, all right, I checked it out a little bit, left it alone. All right, cool. So then my father-in-law, he hits up my wife and he's like, hey, I know this race is coming on. I know you said that, Arthur had liked it on Sunday. Like, just check it out. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I turn it on and now I get to asking questions. What does this mean? What does that mean? 5 minutes turned to 10 minutes. 10 minutes turned to 30 minutes. 30 minutes turned to 3 hours. Then we're sitting at hour 4. Me, wifey, and my father-in-law were on FaceTime for the whole time. The phone's hot. We done plugged it in. Yeah, it was crazy. And I'm just like, yo, this is crazy. And yeah, I had a blast with it, man. So now I'm kind of like...
Do you have a guy right now?
I do, man. Kevin Harvick, the closer. I learned a lot about him, so check it out. They call him the closer. He's won 50 races. He has one championship, man. He's a future Hall of Famer, and he's 44 years old from Bakersfield.
Championship, what does that mean? Is that a major in golf, or is that a championship for the whole season?
For the whole season, yeah. So 50 wins are like if you just win a race. Like if he'd have won yesterday, he ended up getting third place. If he would have won, that would have been his 51st win. You see what I mean? But yeah.
Where's he at in his career? Prime on the down end?
Out of prime, like going down, but still, I mean, in the conversation heavy, he's 44. I'm still learning the age groups in terms of how long drivers drive. I'm like, in football, I'm like 44, dude, like you're ancient. You know what I mean? But in racing, apparently those guys can race a lot longer than that, obviously, but he looks good, man. He was highly competitive yesterday.
He's like Federer.
Yeah, I'll put in that range. Yeah, but man, I was hype about it, man. I can't wait to the next race. As soon as it ended, man, I'm up. It's midnight, and I'm on the phone looking at. All right, I know I can't go to a race this year because the COVID thing, but they going to how much are tickets anyways? Where can I sit at? Where's the closest thing? So, yeah,
my dad, he has mentioned in the past that was one of his funnest sporting events to go to.
So the reason why my father-in-law is big in NASCAR, he used to live in Bristol. Okay. Like right next to the racetrack down there. So he would always be up there. And obviously introduced my wife to that. And they said on Sundays, that's what they would do. They would either go to the racetrack or they would watch the races at home. So now I'm like, dude, now I see why this is crazy. And then, I mean, obviously, some of the names, but I never like watched it. And they're showing some of these highlights of like Dale Earnhardt, Ricky Rudd, Jeff Gordon, all these guys. I'm like, yo, this is nuts. I'm like, man, I'm hooked. Yeah, so now I have to make sure that I don't take that excitement to me actually driving, because as soon as I got in the car this morning, I'm like revving the engine in the garage, so that whole house is shaking. Yeah. But yeah, man, so I'm just excited about it.
That's awesome.
I can't help it. I don't even know if that's a sport that like people talk about, but I'm in it. I was so hyped. I went and followed on IG and Twitter NASCAR, Kevin Harvick, all these different things.
I'm glad you found something.
Yeah, man. I just wanted to get that off my chest. It is what it is. All right. I'm here. All right. Shout out to COVID. I like NASCAR now. There. Maybe there's a market for it. I don't know.
I'm glad you found something. Dude, honestly, there could be something where you do a little... When are the races? On Sundays?
Yeah. So, well, actually, they've been doing weekday races now. Like yesterday was a weekday race because of the COVID thing. It had messed up the season. So they're doing it like that, man.
Dude, screw it. That'd be something fun to do if you just did a short little like minute and a half vid of a NASCAR preview every week.
I'm just saying, bro. Hey, this is where I'm at with it, man. So take it for what it is.
That's awesome, care. Man. I'm glad you found that.
Yeah, man. So that's that, man. So I'm glad you gave me a chance to get that off my chest, man. I appreciate you, man.
It was fun to learn about it.
I appreciate
fun
you,
to learn about Harvard.
So stay tuned. Yeah. Stay tuned. Okay. But now we got this last time we want to talk about, and we talked about this last on the other previous podcast in terms of the Rooney Rule and some of the proposals they made in terms of incentivizing the third round draft picks and things like that, moving up if you were to hire a minority coach and then a minority as a GM. And first off, I wanted to give a major shout out. I mean, obviously to you, because we had that conversation. It was dope. But to everybody that was commenting too, man, there was some really good conversation going on both on Instagram and on YouTube in terms of getting their feelings out and voicing their pain. I think it's a conversation that definitely needed to be had. So shout out to everybody that was tuning in and participating in that conversation, man.
Absolutely.
So since then, though, the NFL met again, and they did make some revisions to the Rooney Rule. So what Roger Goodell said was, the new rule is going to be that each team has to interview 2 minority candidates for any head coaching vacancy. They have to interview 1 minority candidate for any GM vacancy, and then
like front office, vice president, anything like that.
But then they also have to interview at least 1 female for or a female or minority for any senior executive positions as well.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, so that was added, and then they were talking about some of the different programs that they're going to start implementing with these organizations to ultimately help develop these minority coaches, so that way they can continue to grow and excel in that field. And the reason I always say minority and not black is because I feel like a lot of people just associate minority with black, but it's so many other ethnicities and genders that need to be, you know, included in minority. And that's why I think it's important that we talk about that, because when we just looking at the past 2 years, when we say, oh, it's been only 1 black coach hired, but it's been 2 minorities, because obviously Ron Rivera was hired this year. I think that's important that we are inclusive in that regard, because the minorities as a whole are still multiple groups that are not being fairly represented. Mm-hmm. But something that did catch my eye in terms of Roger Goodell and his response to to what they agreed upon, they had asked him about the old proposal, the moving up in the draft picks. And obviously Anthony Lynn spoke out about it. A lot of us, you know, me, you, fans, everybody spoke up about their displeasure with it and how disrespectful it seemed. But what Goodell said was they tabled that proposal. They didn't cancel it. And he said they didn't table it due to a lack of voting. He said it received a great amount of support, but they tabled it because sometimes he said that when they're having these discussions, other things come up to make it where it could be potentially better, or they want to review it a little bit more. For me, I'll just talk on that first.
Yeah, keep going. Yeah.
I am a little concerned about just this whole process of how they're trying to improve minority representation in the NFL, whether it's via coaching spots or front office spots. The reason I'm concerned is when we talk about the owners in the NFL, 32 owners, but there's only 1 minority, and that's Shad Khan with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So you're trying to have the individuals who have created this issue. Now they're trying to fix this issue, but they're still not going to have proper representation of the minorities having a say-so in how they should go about fixing it.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest issue, my biggest concern. I mean, you hear Goodell speak on how he doesn't view the proposal as a bad thing. And clearly, if it had support like how he's implying it did, then they didn't see an issue with that either. But when you hear the Anthony Lynn's, the Louis Riddicks, when you hear all these other African Americans or minority people speaking out on their displeasure with it or how they feel it would undermine them, that lets me know that there's a disconnect in terms of what the NFL's intentions are and their method in terms of how the minorities feel it would impact them and not being in a positive way. So I think that's something that they definitely need to look into a lot more to address it in a better way, because you can have the best intentions in the world, but if your method of going about it is flawed, then you're never going to get the results that you truly want to receive.
So you're saying for them just tabling it instead of canceling it altogether? Is that what you mean?
Well, I wouldn't even say they should cancel altogether, but what I think is they need to invite some of these minorities in there to this conversation.
Okay.
You see what I mean? Like, imagine if you're speaking on something that's affected me negatively and you're trying to come up with a solution to it, even though you were the reason why I was affected negatively, but you never ask me.
I'm just speculating.
You're just speculating.
Assuming. Yeah.
So you could come up with, oh man, I think this would be a great idea.
Good intentions and everything. Yes.
Right. But to me, I'm like, dude, that sucks. I don't want that. But if you never ask me my feelings on it, if you never ask me my input on it, how would you know that? And that's why I say your intention could be great. But if you never have this conversation with me, once you go to implement that thing that you came up with and it's offensive to me, well, now we're either taking no steps forward or we're taking a step backwards. So that's why I think it's important that they do have some of these conversations with minority candidates, with minorities who are already in the NFL, to see just truly how they feel about these different methods and these different proposals.
Okay. Now, with the whole proposal, what did you think of the other two parts of it? Did you see it was the one was each team's going to have to come up with a diversity plan
program, yes,
and then write it out and send it in,
yes.
And I'm sure there will be some type of review process as the year goes on, or at the end of the year, and they'll have to write up another type of proposal of what they're going to do to implement some diversity within their team. What do you think of that? I mean, that's some accountability right there, right? I mean,
you hit it on the head. I love the accountability element of that. I think if you put it on paper, you can't sway from, well, I said this, but this is what I actually meant. When you write it out and you explain it verbatim, now it's okay. This is exactly what we're going to do to promote. This is exactly what
and then it's either you do it or you don't.
Correct. And I think that part is huge because clearly there's an issue. And I feel like when we're talking on these issues in general, you get two crowds. You get the crowd that acknowledges that there's an issue, that there's a flaw, and then you get the guys who are blind to it, or they just want to act like it doesn't exist. And you can act like it doesn't exist all you want in terms of, oh man, every team is going to hire the best candidate. If that was the case, we wouldn't be having this conversation. If that was the case, the owners wouldn't be putting this on themselves. You think the owners want to be viewed this way? No, they wouldn't put that out there, but they understand themselves that, hey, we're looking in the mirror and saying we aren't holding our end of the bargain up. We aren't doing what we said we were going to do when the Rooney Rule was put in place. And when we talk about that, that lets you know that, yes, there is an issue. So for me, I think turning a blind eye to it is not going to make it go away. If something smells, you can cover it up. It's still going to smell. You got to get to the root of the issue. And I think ultimately that's what they're trying to do. That's what this step is. And I think they're headed in the right direction. I think it's something that, first off, you got to admit that, hey, it's an issue. Then from there, now you start troubleshooting, problem solving. How can we get this right? And then from there, you implement it. So this is definitely going in the right direction, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Was there anything about the first guideline? I think it was like the increase of the minority interviews for the coaches
and GM spots, yes.
all that type of stuff. What did you think of that? Was there any flaw or anything that you didn't like about that?
No, I was, like I said, compared to what it was initially, where it was only you had to interview one guy, and we talked about how that kind of it was more so we already have an agreement in place, but we're just going to interview you for the sake of interviewing you. I think in this regard now, you can hope to get away from that, but I still feel that it could go back down that same path, just strictly because when you're just asking to interview somebody, the one or two candidate minimum, I just don't know necessarily how effective that is, because that's similar to what was already in place in terms of being just one guy you had to interview. And since the Rooney Rule has been created, it's only been one team that's been fined for not abiding by that rule of interviewing one minority candidate. That would have been the Detroit Lions when they hired Steve Mariucci without interviewing a minority candidate. But other than that, they've done a successful job in terms of maneuvering around that. But when you look at the past 2 years, 2018, 8 head coaching vacancies, only one minority coach, Brian Flores. When you look at 2019, 5 head coaching vacancies, only one minority candidate. They got hired, Ron Rivera, and he was a guy who was already a head coach that same season. He was the Carolina Panthers head coach, got fired in week 10 or 11, and then the Redskins hired him. So even with that, I still don't view that as a new hire or, another minority, because he was already a head coach in the league. But my biggest, issue with it is when we talk about the different rhymes or reasons or excuses in terms of, out of 8 vacancies, the reason why it was just one was, we want a guy with offensive experience or coordinator experience or success or this or that. But when you look at the past 2 years, you've seen guys coming from college who it wasn't like they were at powerhouses, Alabama, Clemson, or anything like that. No, and they weren't even dominating their conference. Let's be real about it. Let's be real. Cliff Kingsbury, even with Patrick Mahomes, he still was having losing seasons. When you look at Mark Rule, they weren't just dominant. It's not like we're talking Dabo Swinney. It's not like we're talking Nick Saban.
Those dudes probably want to stick with where they're at, though.
No, I agree. But, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, in theory, so when you talk that
Yeah, if you
man,
brought in like Urban
I'm only trying
Meyer
to bring this
or
guy
Lincoln
because-
Riley.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's different.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that's one issue. I'm like, okay, well, there's some issues with that. Then when you say, well, I want a guy with coordinator experience, man, there's guys that got promoted that didn't have coordinator experience. Or when you talk about just experience in general, you look at what happened in Cleveland.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that guy went from quarterback coach, became coordinator for what? A month or two, and then was head coach all in the span of 6 months. Like, to me, that's crazy. And then you saw how that panned out. And we all can agree that he was not qualified at all for that. And it showed. It showed week in and week out. But for me, I just don't understand why is it that when it comes to minority hires, they need to be overqualified. But when it comes to some of the non-minorities, the qualifications sometimes aren't held to the same standard. And I think that's what the NFL has ultimately said that, hey, man, we need to look into this more. And why the minority people that have represented themselves in terms of coaches and potential GM candidates have spoken out on the issue as well.
That was a good way to put it right there. That was,
Yeah, because I mean, it's different. Like when we talk just coaching hires, how many times have we heard, well, even though this guy hasn't shown that he can win or be successful in the NFL, we're willing to take a chance on him. We're excited about him. Whereas with the minorities, it seems as if they need to be coordinator. They need to already have had success. They need to have a track record that says win, 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 this. And that's where you see the disparity. And that's why obviously the Rooney Rule was created, and obviously why they're speaking on it again right now.
Yeah. What did you think? There was a third one, and I was kind of confused by it. I didn't really understand. They're going to be opening up the mobility for coaches and
coordinators to interview for different spots. So
is this something that was going on that no one really knew about?
Come on, man. You know they're not going to... You notice even with this coming out, right?
I've heard things of like, this person is in the NFC Championship or going to the Super Bowl. So they're letting him go interview for this job. Yeah. But I haven't heard from
they can
any other type of positions doing that, though.
Yes, they can definitely block you. So essentially what they would do is, say you're my position coach, you're my quarterback's coach, and this team over here wants to interview you for offensive coordinator spot or potential head coaching spot. I can say, you know what? I'm not giving him access. No, he can't interview until the season's over. But during this whole time now, weeks are going by. Obviously every team, they want to get that hire done right away. They want to get these interviews done so they can finish this process and get their guy in the door. So by me saying, hey, you can't go interview, now you're missing on that opportunity. That does happen a lot. You only hear about it with certain coordinators or certain position coaches. You heard about it a little bit with Flores just because he was with the Patriots. Obviously with Josh Daniels. Excuse me, Josh McDaniels. Yeah, I was gonna say not Josh Daniels, Josh McDaniels. You heard about him, but obviously Patriots. You know what I mean? So that was why, because the playoffs, the conversations around, the excitement around that. But it does happen a lot. So that's why with the new rule saying that, hey, you're not allowed to block these guys anymore, it does open up the door for them to have better opportunities. But I mean, I understand why some of these teams would block, because you would want to say, hey, I want you to focus more so on helping us win right now than you looking out for yourself trying to get a job somewhere else. And that part, I definitely can see, that element of it. But at the same time, by you blocking somebody for the team's own good, you're ultimately hurting that person in terms of giving them opportunity to go in and advance and excel in their career field.
Yeah. So overall, what do you think? I like the diversity plan. You write up your statement or whatever, and we're going to do this, and this, and then the accountability factor. I kind of like that. I don't really see too much downside there. I think, like you said earlier, at least this whole thing's a step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Especially compared to what we were talking about last week.
Oh, man. Absolutely, man. I agree 100%.
I don't think there's too much downside to what was laid out here in the new plan.
Yeah, I think, like you said, it's a step in the right direction. I don't want to say this is a lateral step. I do say it's a step forward. So that is good in that regard. But I do still think that it is going to need to be revised and looked into a lot more, simply because there isn't enough minority representation in these conversations to truly understand what they are feeling or what they think is the biggest issue. So until that happens, I feel like you're always going to have a flaw in this intent, this action. I think it's always going to have something missing in that regard.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I was reading it. They have talked to certain groups,
yes, they
right?
Have an agency that they're working with.
But that's different than talking to the actual coaches and the actual people that are in the NFL. Because
the owners, they're in the NFL. They're speaking from their personal experience. But now when they speak to the minorities, they're not talking to minorities directly. They're talking to an agency that is supposed to speak on behalf of minorities. But these agencies, they're not in it. They're not living it. So how can they fully represent these minorities? That's the issue.
Yeah.
So that's why I say for me personally, to feel more comfortable with it. And I think for them to take the best steps forward, you need to talk to the actual minorities who are in it, who are living it. The Louis Riddicks, the Anthony Lynn's, the Mike Tomlins, the Marvin Lewis's, the Lovie Smiths. Like, speak to them directly, get their input directly. Guys who have had success, guys who've been washed out of the league as well. I mean, I think that it's important to hear their perspective and not just solely 31, non-minorities and then just one minority voice and an agency.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the only thing they're missing is, like I said last week, is this whole resort week. That's all. I mean, they're stepping in the right direction, but maybe be looking for this resort week or 2 weeks.
Oh, right, that's what it is.
I'm telling you, man, I really do think it could be a success. Like, if you make it to where I don't know what you can do with. All right, you have to be here for this period of time, and how do you really make it mandatory? Yeah. But you have to make it fun, so people want to go.
Too, because you say golf.
It doesn't have to be golf. It's like a resort.
Yeah, because I was going to say golf. Not everybody likes golf. Cruise possibility.
Cruise maybe. Yeah,
it's a possibility for that.
And you set up events. You set up little games. I don't really know. Just where everyone's commingling and you force people from this team to be hanging out with this team for like one day. You know what I mean? Just just get everything mixed in there, and I'm sure relationships will be built and connections will be made.
I know when I was drafted, we went and did the rookie symposium. This was one of those things where they literally took us all to California. I think we're in San Diego. They put us in a resort where we're not able to leave. We have to intermingle and talk with each other. They would mix our groups up each day. So one day you're hanging out with this team. Next day you're hanging out with this team. You would have different people coming and speaking to you, breakout groups and things like that. But ultimately, like you said, you build a rapport with guys that you would have never talked to under any other circumstance.
Something's going to happen. Yeah, that's what I mean. True, I don't know how to make that mandatory. Yeah. Or how you make it so...
Because the rookie symposium is mandatory.
How do you make it so it's something that they're all looking forward to as well?
Yeah,
where it's just not like, this is, this week I gotta go to this thing. No, you make it fun.
Man. Everybody's always gonna find a reason to complain. Let's be real. Let's be real.
But if you put me in charge of it, I'm sure I can make it fun all around.
All right.
If it's a cruise, there's golf involved. There could be a lot of things.
This golf. Why can't it be bowling? Everybody likes golf.
Comedy shows. We could do comedy shows.
Just stop with the golf. Not everybody likes golf, man.
I know you don't like golf.
Yeah. So it's a lot of people that don't golf. Especially, I'm not even gonna go that route, but there's a lot of people that don't golf, man. All right, it's different upbringings. Jeez, bowling, roller skating, movies. All right, cool, man.
Roller skating, come on, man.
Roller skating is dope, bro. What? That's all right.
I'll give you bowling. I'm not a big bowling guy.
Did you ever skate?
I played hockey.
No, not hockey. I'm talking like the skating rink. Like hockey is like an actual like sport. No, like the rollerblade rink, the four-wheel. Like
I had a stick in my hand. Oh shit!
Yeah, that's different. Like man, ice? No, what? Get out of here.
Yeah, I guess like you said, different upbringing.
See? I like it though.
I'd rollerblade though. I mean, if I can ice skate, I can rollerblade.
Yeah, you should be able to.
But it's not really my cup of tea.
Yeah. Even though rollerblading is different than ice skating,
it is because you can't spray. You can't spray the ice.
Nah, it's just different, man. I've done both. I'm familiar.
What type of rollerblades you talking about?
What you mean?
Because there's the ones with the 4 wheels.
Those aren't rollerblades. Okay, those are 4 wheels.
Okay, like I'm trying to that are almost shaped like a car.
Yeah.
Okay,
you just call those like a 4-wheel. Like
okay.
Yeah, like I'm just skating on 4. Whereas like rollerblades are like the ones that they're linear. Yeah.
What's so different about it though? Like I've done both.
Well, first off, the way you're balancing it. You have to be able to balance yourself on a rollerblade because it's not. I mean, it rocks think like a motorcycle. Yeah. Whereas in a car, you don't have to balance on a car. In a car,
I'm talking about between ice skating and rollerblading. I know different surfaces and everything.
That's the biggest thing, the different surface.
I always felt like I was skating the same way though.
Similar, yes, but different.
Okay.
Yeah, similar but different, man. The ice obviously is a different surface, so your technique on ice. How you stop on ice compared to how you stop on rollerblade.
You have to drag your toe for the most part.
It's different in those regards, man. And then also the frame in which you're standing on, the blade is a lot thinner than an actual roller skate. You see what I mean? So just your balance in that department is going to be different too.
Understood,
Yeah,
man.
There's
Understood.
differences, man.
All right, we can include rollerblading. I'm not gonna hold them out of it.
Yeah. Anything but golf. You can do Top Golf. How about Top Golf?
A Top Golf on a
Top
cruise.
Golf works, man.
That'd be fun.
Top Golf works.
We'll see. Step in the right direction, at least.
Either way, man, it's definitely a step in the right direction. So,
yeah.
Continue with the conversation, man. So it's good, man. Hopefully a year from now. Well, actually, not even a year from now, because apparently they're supposed to meet again in, I guess, like a week or two to talk some more about the tabled issue and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I'm going. But like I said, they don't do a good job of promoting this, and it's understandable.
Yeah.
Even if you go on the NFL.com right now, you have to search and try to find these different things that are going on with the Rooney Rule.
I know you sent me the article for it, and I didn't even, because there was everything in the article that I needed to see, so I didn't really bother going to search, but I haven't seen it on my Twitter feed. I haven't seen it on ESPN.com at all. So, hey, man, we're talking it on here, though.
Hey, man, this is what we do. It's our duty. Yeah. But yeah, man, this is a fun-filled podcast, man. A lot of good stuff in this, man.
Yeah, dude. How long we go? Because I thought we were gonna go short here.
All right, man. You know, sometimes you gotta get it off your chest. We're an hour in this thing, baby.
An hour too. Yeah, that was solid.
Give the people what they want. That's what we do.
Yeah, that was
give
fun.
Them what they want, man.
Yeah, because we just had the two topics, but we obviously we always break them down pretty good.
This is what we do, man. So with that being said, we appreciate everybody, right?
Yeah, man.
Definitely appreciate y'all, man. Tuning in.
Enjoy your weekend, your Memorial Day.
Yes.
It's Memorial Day, right? Labor Day is in September.
Correct.
I get them confused. They're the same. They're the same thing.
Oh,
they really are.
Don't do that, man.
A Monday off with some sun and some hot dogs and burgers. They're the same thing. They're the same thing.
Man.
4th of July is a little different.
Jeez.
You get the fireworks, and a lot of times it's during the middle of the week.
What the holidays are representing, not just a day off.
Dude, I don't look into that.
Golly,
man. I was getting school off. That's how I remember it.
Oh man. So anywho, man, enjoy your weekend. All right, enjoy your weekend. Have fun. Be safe. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Until next time.
Peace.